Hey, sixth graders, here is video number 2 going through your problem set for these equivalent ratios that are tricky because their ratios change. Okay, so we just did number 1 about the oak and the maple trees, and we're going to take a look at number 2. Okay, so I'm using the same paper. I'm just going to draw a line down the middle, and I'm going to do number 2 on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to pull my paper back. Okay, so this problem says, the school band is comprised of middle school students and high school students, but it always has the same maximum capacity. That means there's always the same number of kids in band, even though some of them are middle school, some of them are high school. Last year, the ratio of middle school to the number of high school, so I'm going to write this down, middle school to high school, was 1 to 8. 1 to 8, and that was last year. Okay, however, this year, the ratio of the number of middle school students to the number of high school students changed to 2 to 7. Okay, so last year and this year, but now my ratio is still middle school to high school, but now it's 2 to 7. Okay, so there's my table. That's going to help me organize my thoughts. Okay, 1 to 8 was my first ratio, 2 to 7 was my second ratio. I got that right from the problem. If there are 18 middle school students in the band this year, okay, so this year there's 18 middle school students this year, how many fewer high school students are in the band this year compared to last year? Okay, so I'm going to highlight our question again because they're trying to trick you here because they're asking you for both. They're asking you for how many high school students are in band last year and this year. But then what's the difference between those? So I need to figure out how many high school students last year and this year, and then I need to subtract. Okay, so remember our first thing that we're going to do is draw our tape diagram. So last year, let's put last year, and I have middle school, I only have one box because there was 1 to 8. High school, I'm going to draw 8 boxes. Okay, you can see this helps you visualize it. There was way, way, way more high school students than middle school students in band last year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so my 8 boxes. That was last year. Okay, this year, I get 2 boxes for middle school because there were 2 to 7, and 7 high school. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that's this year. So then they told me in the problem, I can go back up, if there are 18 middle school students in band this year. So these two, that means middle school this year are 18. Okay, so this box right here is 18. But remember, I need to divide. Okay, so if I have 18 students, I have 2 boxes. What goes in each box? Well, I just divide by 2. Okay, so there's 9 in each box. Since I have the same, remember we had the same maximum capacity of students both years, that's how I know I can put the same thing in each of these boxes. Okay, my number of students did not change, just my ratio. So I feel good putting 9s in the rest of my boxes, because my total number of students did not change, only my ratio. Okay, it's the same number of kids, it's just kind of like they're moving around. They move to a different box. So all of these are 9. Okay, now I did the hard part, right? This is the part where we're like, whew, that's the hard part. Okay, we got our ratios, we did our division, we drew our tape diagram, we put something in every box of our tape diagram. Okay, now we just need to figure out what are they asking us to do. Remember we talked about they want to know about high school. How many high school students this year compared to last year? Okay, how many fewer? How many did we lose? Okay, you could look at your tape diagram and actually answer this pretty easily. They want to know how many less are in high school band this year compared to last year. If you line up your tape diagram, right, you have each of these boxes match up. Okay, so how many less boxes do we have? Just 1. So how many less students compared to last year? 9 students. Okay, so you could explain it using your tape diagram. You could also keep going the way we've been doing it with your multiplication. So there's 9 in each box. I go back up to my ratio. Last year there was 8 times 9. Okay, 8 times 9, we should know that one from our multiplication chart. 72 students last year. This year it dropped to 7 times 9. Okay, 7 times 9, we should also know that one. 63 students. Okay, so then you just figure out what's the difference between 72 and 63. Okay, it's just one math fact off from our 9, so we know it's going to be 9. Okay, so that means 9 fewer students compared to last year would be a great answer. Okay, so that one was a little easier because we could line up our tape diagrams and just see, oh, there's only one box fewer. That must be 9 students fewer. Okay, and then make sure if your problem ever asks you to explain, that you could explain it using a tape diagram, 1 fewer box. You could explain it using your multiplication. You're justifying that you got the answer right, and you can do that both ways. Okay, so there was another example of a problem set where your ratio changed. Just a quick review, we made our table. This was based on what we read in the problem. It told us the ratio for last year, middle school to high school. It told us the ratio for this year, middle school to high school. It also told us how many middle school students were in band this year, 18, and we had to know that in order to figure out what goes in our tape diagram. Okay, this year, middle school students, there was 2 boxes with 18 total. So we just divided by 2, put 9 in each box. And then since the number of students in band did not change from last year to this year, the total number of students, we felt good putting a 9 in every box for last year and this year. Okay, that was the hard part. And then we had to figure out what is the question actually asking us. And this is what it was asking us. Okay, so hopefully that example helps you see these tricky problems again and that you can be able to do these all by yourself. Good luck and thank you for watching.